Year 5 and welcome to lesson 10 of our Destination Reader sessions. We're now halfway through our Destination Reader sessions for this half term. Remember, your keywords are in red, questions for you to answer are in blue, and any writing time is in green. We're going to continue reading Matilda by Roald Dahl. Remember that this week we have been looking at inferences. Good readers make inferences by looking for clues in the text to help them understand more. Authors sometimes leave key information out so that the reader wants to keep reading to find out more. Our vocabulary for today. We have sinew. Sinew, which is a piece of tough fibrous tissue uniting muscle to bone, often a tendon or a ligament. We have obstinate. Obstinate, which is when you stubbornly refuse to change one's opinion, to change your opinion, despite attempts of persuasion. We have twill. Twill, which is a type of woven fabric which has diagonal, parallel ridges. We have sewer. Sewer, which is an underground channel for carrying off drainage, water, and waste matter. They can usually be quite smelly. Ugh. And we have barmy. Barmy, which simply means mad or crazy. It's another word for one of those. I would like you to remind yourself of what kind of answer a 1-mark question needs. Say your answer out loud and then make a note of your ideas. Press play once you are ready. Well done. 1-mark questions need a short, snappy answer. Now I would like you to remind yourself of what kind of answer a 2-mark question needs. Say your answer out loud and then make a note of your answer. Press play once you are ready. Well done. 2-mark questions need a point and evidence. We're going to continue reading. We're on page 76 and we're reading the chapter, The Trunchbull. I will read and you will follow along, and we'll stop at certain points so that I can ask you questions. Remember, when I ask you questions, you need to remember your key skill, inference. In the interval, Miss Honey left the classroom and headed straight for the headmistress's study. She felt wildly excited. She had just met a small girl who possessed, or so it seemed to her, quite extraordinary qualities of brilliance. There had not been time yet to find out exactly how brilliant the child was, but Miss Honey had learnt enough to realise that something had to be done about it as soon as possible. It would be ridiculous to leave a child like that stuck in the bottom form. Normally, Miss Honey was terrified of the headmistress and kept well away from her, but at this moment she felt ready to take on anybody. She knocked on the door of the dreaded private study. "Enter!" boomed the deep and dangerous voice of Miss Trunchbull. Miss Honey went in. Now, most head teachers are chosen because they possess a number of fine qualities. They best understand children, and they have the children's best interests at heart. They are sympathetic. They are fair, and they are deeply interested in education. Miss Trunchbull possessed none of these qualities, and how she ever got her present job was a mystery. She was above all a formidable female. She had once been a famous athlete, and even now the muscles were still clearly in evidence. You could see them in the bull neck, in the big shoulders, in the thick arms, in the sinewy wrists, and in the powerful legs. Looking at her, you got the feeling that this was someone who could bend iron bars and tear telephone directories in half. Her face, I'm afraid, was neither a thing of beauty nor a joy forever. She had an obstinate chin, a cruel mouth, and small arrogant eyes. And as for her clothes, they were, to say the least, extremely odd. She always had on a brown cotton smock, which was pinched in around the waist with a wide leather belt. The belt was fastened in front with an enormous silver buckle. The massive thighs which emerged from out of the smock were encased in a pair of extraordinary breeches, bottle green in colour and made of coarse twill. These breeches reached to just below the knees, and from there on down she sported green stockings with turn-up tops, which displayed her calf muscles to perfection. On her feet she wore flat-heeled brown brogues with leather flaps. She looked, in short, more like a rather eccentric and bloodthirsty follower of the staghounds than the headmistress of a nice school for children. We're going to stop there. My first question to you is, why were people often scared of Miss Trunchbull? It describes Miss Trunchbull, it tells me about her, but it doesn't actually tell me exactly why people were scared of her. You need to read between the lines and see if you can work the answer out for 1 mark. Say your answer out loud and then make a note of your ideas on your piece of paper or in your home learning book, and press play once you're ready. Great work. People were scared of Miss Trunchbull because of both her looks and her personality. So these two things combined make her quite scary. Well done. Let's continue. When Miss Honey entered the study, Miss Trunchbull was standing beside her huge desk with a look of scowling impatience on her face. Yes, Miss Honey, she said. What is it you want? You're looking very flushed and flustered this morning. What's the matter with you? Have those little stinkers been flicking spitballs at you? No, headmistress, nothing like that. Well, what is it then? Get on with it. I'm a busy woman. As she spoke, she reached out and poured herself a glass of water from a jug that was always on her desk. There is a little girl in my class called Matilda Wormwood, Miss Honey began. That's the daughter of the man who owns Wormwood Motors in the village, Miss Trunchbull barked. She hardly ever spoke in a normal voice. She either barked or shouted. An excellent person, Wormwood, she went on. I was in there only yesterday. He sold me a car, almost new, only done 10,000 miles. Previous owner was an old lady, who took it out once a year at the most. A terrific bargain. Yes, I liked Wormwood. A real pillar up to our society. He told me the daughter was a bad lot, though. He said to watch her. He said if anything bad ever happened in the school, it was certain to be his daughter who did it. I haven't met the little brat yet, but I know she'll know about it when I do. Her father said she's a real wart. We're going to stop again. My question is, Miss Honey talks to Miss Trunchbull about Matilda. What is she trying to tell her? So we know that Miss Honey has gone to Miss Trunchbull's office. I would like to know what it is that she is trying to tell her for 1 mark. Remember, your answer will be short and snappy. Say your answer out loud and then note it down, and press play once you're ready. Brilliant. Miss Honey is trying to tell Miss Trunchbull that Matilda should be moved to a more advanced form. So that is why Miss Honey has gone to Miss Trunchbull's office. And your answer should be something along those lines. Even if it's not exactly word for word as the same as mine, it should be similar. Let's continue. Oh no, headmistress, that can't be right, Miss Honey cried. Oh yes, Miss Honey, it darn well is right. In fact, now I come to think of it, I'll bet it was she who put that stink bomb under my desk here. First thing this morning, the place stank like a sewer. Of course it was her. I shall have her for that. You see if I don't. What's she look like? Nasty little worm. I'll be bound. I have discovered, Miss Honey, during my long career as a teacher, that a bad girl is a far more dangerous creature than a bad boy. What's more, they're much harder to squash. Squashing a bad girl is like trying to squash a blue bottle. You bang down on it, and the darn thing isn't there. Nasty, dirty little things, little girls are. Glad I was never one. Oh, but you must have been a little girl once, headmistress. Surely you were. Not for long anyway, Miss Trunchbull barked, grinning. I became a woman very quickly. She's completely off her rocker, Miss Honey told herself. She's balmy as a bedbug. Remember what the word balmy means. Miss Honey stood resolutely before the headmistress. For once she was not going to be browbeaten. I must tell you, headmistress, she said, that you are completely mistaken about Matilda putting a stink bomb under your desk. I am never mistaken, Miss Honey. But headmistress, the child only arrived in school this morning and came straight to the classroom. Don't argue with me, for heaven's sake, woman. This little brute Matilda, or whatever her name is, has stink-bombed my study. There's no doubt about it. Thank you for suggesting it. But I didn't suggest it, headmistress. Of course you did. Now what is it you want, Miss Honey? Why are you still wasting my time? I came to talk to you about Matilda, headmistress. I have extraordinary things to report about the child. May I please tell you what happened in class just now? I suppose she set fire to your skirt and scorched your knickers, Miss Trunchbull snorted. No, Miss Honey cried out. Matilda is a genius. At the mention of this word, Miss Trunchbull's face turned purple, and her whole body seemed to swell up like a bullfrog's. A genius? She shouted. What piffle is this you're talking, madam? You must be out of your mind. I have her father's word for it, that the child is a gangster. Her father is wrong, headmistress. Don't be a twerp, Miss Honey. You have met the little beast for only half an hour, and her father has known her all his life. But Miss Honey was determined to have her say, and she now began to describe some of the amazing things Matilda had done with arithmetic. We're going to stop again so we can ask a question. Why do you think Miss Honey is determined to defend Matilda to Miss Trunchbull? For 2 marks. I would like you to say your answer out loud and then make a note of your answer. Press play once you are ready. Great. I imagine that Miss Honey is determined to defend Matilda to Miss Trunchbull because she sees Matilda's great potential. Miss Honey refers to Matilda as a genius, which emphasises how impressed she is with Matilda's abilities. I've used my sentence stem, I imagine that. I've used because to explain why I think my main point. And I've used a piece of evidence from the text. I've used a genius in quotation marks. Let's continue. Matilda had, we're near the bottom of page 81. So she's learnt a few tables by heart, has she? Miss Trunchbull barked. My dear woman, that doesn't make her a genius. It makes her a parrot. But headmistress, she can read. So can I, Miss Trunchbull snapped. It is my opinion, Miss Honey said, that Matilda should be taken out of my form and placed immediately in the top form of the 11-year-olds. Ha! Snorted Miss Trunchbull. So you want to get rid of her, do you? So you can't handle her? So now you want to unload her onto the wretched Miss Plimsoll in the top form where she will cause even more chaos? No, cried Miss Honey. That is not my reason at all. Oh, yes, it is, shouted Miss Trunchbull. I can see right through your little plot, madam. And my answer is no. Matilda stays where she is, and it is up to you to see that she behaves herself. But headmistress, please. Not another word, shouted Miss Trunchbull. And in any case, I have a rule in this school that all children remain in their own age groups, regardless of ability. Great Scott, I'm not having a little 5-year-old brigand sitting with the senior girls and boys in the top form. Who ever heard of such thing? Miss Honey stood there helpless before this great red-necked giant. There was a lot more she would like to have said, but she knew it was useless. She said softly, Very well, then. It's up to you, headmistress. You're darn right it's up to me, Miss Trunchbull bellowed. And don't forget, madame, that we are dealing here with a little viper who put a stink bomb under my desk. She did not do that, headmistress. Of course she did it, Miss Trunchbull boomed. And I'll tell you what, I wish to heavens I was still allowed to use the birch and belt as I did in the good old days. I'd have roasted Matilda's bottom for her so she couldn't sit down for a month. We're going to make one last stop before we finish off our reading and end for our session. Why do you think Miss Trunchbull is so against Miss Honey's impressions of Matilda? This question is supposed to be 2 marks. I would like you to say your answer out loud and then make a note of your answer on your piece of paper. Press play once you are ready. The part where Miss Trunchbull tells Miss Honey about her encounter with Mr. Wormwood tells me that she strongly believes what he has said about Matilda. Miss Trunchbull is fond of Mr. Wormwood and refers to him as an excellent person. This is because of her experience when buying her car and could also be due to both the characters having similar personality traits. So I've used my sentence opener to make my main point, and I've also used evidence from the text when she refers to him as an excellent person. That suggests that she supports his point of view, and therefore she doesn't have a good impression of Matilda. Well done for your answers. Remember, I would love to read them if you could email them to the class mailbox. Let's continue the last part. Miss Honey turned and walked out of the study, feeling depressed, but by no means defeated. I am going to do something about this child, she told herself. I don't know what it will be, but I shall find a way to help her in the end. And we're at the end of our chapter for today. Well done, Year 5. I'm really impressed. Next week, we will continue reading Matilda and we will carry on making inferences. But look out for something a little bit more challenging. We're still going to focus on 1 and 2 mark questions, but there's going to be something a little bit more tricky in next week's lessons. On your piece of paper or in your home learning book, make a note of anything else that you could infer from the chapter Miss Trunchbull. Well done and have a great weekend.